Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at the new Chordy Audio Signs. So Signs is an original synth from Chordy Audio. It's not based on any one particular thing, although it is inspired by FM synths of yesteryear. Now, FM is obviously frequency modulation, where you use the sound of one oscillator to adjust the phase of another oscillator, something that you can do with Signs, where you use perhaps the output of oscillator 4 to adjust the phase of 2, as we see here in the mod matrix, using envelope 4 as the sort of virtual VCA to control that. So we can do classic FM structures in Signs, and there are templates to help you set them up. Or you can use Signs as a kind of super complex multi-oscillator subtractive synthesizer, where you've got 4 different waveforms, each on their own wiggly line here, and they each have unique and interesting timbral controls to sort of wavefold or adjust the shape and phase and feedback controls. So it can be a trad FM synth, but it's also just like a really nice kind of super subtractive synth that doesn't exist anywhere else in quite the same way, where you've got 4 oscillators, loads of wave shaping possibilities and modulation possibilities, so they can sound very animated. And then you've got really lovely analog modeled filters built in too. So in this video, what I'll do is I'll show you a bit of sound design. We'll make a sound and I'll show you the kinds of things that are possible. And then I'll show you a couple of examples. I've been jamming around with Signs and I'll just let you hear some stuff that uses it. Let's start from a new sound, and which is a like sine wave, appropriately enough. Everything's sine-y. And there is a level control and there is a pan control, which is very nice. So you can pan left and right. And so then if I wavefold, you get this folding. You can actually see it here on the screen. You have got these super ask and sub ask. These are additional sine waves that you can have. The super ask is an octave above and the sub ask is an octave below. So you can have an octave up, an octave below, and then the root note here. You can adjust the tuning, of course, and there are octave dials here, as well as ratio dials, which are like octave shifting, but more akin to what is in an FM synth. But in this instance, let's get a nice subtractive patch, but which uses some of the timbral controls. So wave folding, but then width. So this is kind of pulse width thing, the sine wave, or the kind of bent sine wave. Just sounds really cool. And now you're seeing above all of these controls is a modulation control, and I can go, I want that to be modulated. So I click source, LFO 1, that one here, and then I increase the amount. And I can do this. I bring it back. This is bipolar. Nice. If I adjust the feedback, it will make it more kind of snarly. It's feeding itself back onto itself. You can do it both positively and negatively. And then if I fade in oscillator 2, increase its feedback, adjust its panning, modulate it from LFO 1, starting to get a very weirdly modulated thing. And then let's increase the release, because you always should have loads of release. If I reduce the amount here, it'll break up less because we're pushing the settings so that they're going right to the edge of the width and it starts to disappear. Nice. And then the filter. So we've got a nice 24 dB low pass. I always make that face. Can't help it. Sorry. And then you can just apply the filter envelope here. Nice. So we've got like quite a traditional 2 oscillator thing going on. We've got more oscillators, of course. And note these other LFOs. Although the LFOs are kind of in line with the oscillators, you know, they're available for everything. So I could have each oscillator being affected in some timbral way by its own LFO by lots of degrees with all of these source styles. Or I could maybe use like LFO1 and adjust everything on the synth with just that one LFO if I wanted. And although it looks quite complicated when you first look at it, the principle is just like looking at a mixer. You know, mixers look super complicated, but really there's just one channel that's multiplied. And here you've just got one little strip that's multiplied 4 times. Now, of course, we can combine things in a kind of FM style. And to do this, we take the oscillator pitches. So let's say oscillator 3 as the source here. And then let's make the destination oscillator 1's phase. So now the rate of oscillator 3 affects the phase of oscillator 1. And that creates more traditional frequency modulation, FM synthesis. You get those wonderful like brow tones. If I adjust the ratio, we get different timbres. Gets like really raspy and bonkers. Now on a Yamaha synth of yesteryear, you would have an envelope control to change how that sort of application of one oscillator to the other, how it would change over time. And that would create a timbral thing, akin to me adjusting the amount dial here, like so if we play it, you hear how that creates a difference. There's a difference in sound. So if you were to pick envelope 4, which I think is doing nothing at the moment, and I increase the attack, you hear how it now takes 4 seconds, aka 4,400 milliseconds, to come into play. A bit shorter still. So that's kind of a little nugget on how you do the kind of traditional FM thing. You use oscillators as the source, and then you send them into the phase of another oscillator using an envelope or something else as the control sort of signal. They're like intermediary that chooses how much it goes. And we can also do things like use aftertouch or like interesting things like mod wheel. So you could adjust the mod wheel. You see them. No, you can't actually see it here because I'm in the way. But if I adjust the mod wheel, I could use the mod wheel as a sort of intermediary and just make all kinds of timbral things happen. So, yeah. So we've got a combination of something that's both trad FM, for want of a better term, almost, and then something that's more subtractive, all in one synth. So Science is both like Subtractive and FME, you know, both. And additive, I suppose it is additive because you've got lots of sine waves and you can combine them. I mean, you've really got like 12, I think, that you're combining because you've got the super and the sub. You've got an arpeggiator, which is just down here, hidden behind me, hit arpeggiator. And there's effects as well. And I do just want to mention some of the effects because Cherry Audio have been making some really nice effects. And so there is really nice reverb built in. And these are not kind of afterthoughts. You know, you only have to listen to, you know, the music of Warp Records in the 90s to hear how FM synths plus the reverb that was chosen for them, like the reverb's part of the sound. So that's why I think it's really important that you've got nice effects in these synths because you just need it. It's like what makes them come alive, although it does sound, you know, big and interesting without. So I'll pick LFO 4. I want that to come in slowly. So I'll use envelope 3 and I'll pick source envelope 3. You notice you've got delay here, so I can on. So yeah, super fun. Sines is bonkers. It's both, you know, classic and it's forward thinking. It's not a synth that's quite existed before, but of course it owes its legacy to classics like, you know, the DX synths and then all subtractive synths because you've got a wonderful sounding filter. And just particular shout out here to the 6 dB low pass. I really like 6 dB low pass filters. They've got a kind of very... So yeah, that's the sort of core of Sines, I think, because obviously I've not shown you everything. But then what I'll do is I'll just play a little bit of music. This is stuff that I've been creating with Sines, multiple instances, nothing but Sines. Here, particularly of note, is a drum beat, which if I just shift this slightly to the right, look, sine, 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 sines. This is all instances of Sines doing all of the sounds, and these are all preset sounds. Like if you come in here, there's loads of presets, I believe around 500 presets that you get with it, and there's a percussion set and there's loads of percussion sounds in here, so I just picked 8 that I thought were interesting. And by the way, this is all the built-in effects. You can hear there's some effects on this. And then this goes well with this. I was getting very like 90s Warp Records. This little sound is one that I made using that 6 dB mode dimension. 3 oscillator. Leaving one free to do some FM if I wish. Sort of like trad FM bass. There is also a very good effort at lately bass in here as well for all your FM heads. Some really lovely, like, ethereal sounds, as you would expect, like lovely, gorgeous, moody sort of things. This is the Regal Horns preset, maybe slightly tweaked, but also again all built-in effects. Some weird little sounds in the background in here. Mainly a big, like, Boards of Canada sort of Paddy thing. More presets. Expect just some lovely kind of like triumphant, simple chord sounds. Velocity, you can hear it's like different velocity in the playing. Don't be afraid of the cheese. This was the Dre whistle preset. This is one single preset playing single key notes, but you can hear them as chords because of course you've got 4 oscillators, so you can tune them to chords and make these wonderful like one note chords. So that is Cherry Audio Signs. It is available now. There is a link down below so you can get prices and pick it up at Gear4music. You can buy signs and all manner of other wonderful things at Gear4music now. So check the link and please do subscribe, ask questions, leave a comment and reactions. And we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.